Hey Cardinal fans, quick disclaimer before we get into the first episode of Fast Break. We did not yet have a non-conference schedule at the time of this recording, so we unfortunately did not get to talk about it. However, we will talk about the non-con and a whole lot more in future episodes. So without further ado, here is the first episode of Fast Break.
On the Cambridge Ball State Cardinal Sports Network from Learfield, welcome to Fast Break, a Ball State athletics podcast dedicated to the Cardinals women's basketball team. Presented by Cambridge, here are your hosts, Dom Liacone and Sam Neiger.
What's going on, Ball State sports fans and Ball State women's basketball fans alike? Welcome to the very first episode of our new Ball State Athletics podcast, specifically focused on the women's basketball team. Fast Break, presented by Cambridge and right here on the Cambridge Radio Network from Learfield. So excited to have you on and so excited to get this pod underway. I am Dominic Liacone, one of two voices for Ball State women's basketball here on the Cambridge Radio Network from Learfield. And of course, today I'm joined by not only my co-host, but the new co-voice of Ball State women's basketball here in 2024-2025, Mr. Sam Neiger. Sam, welcome to the family. We're so excited to have you, man.
So glad to be here.
I hear everyone clapping for you, man. This is going to be a heck of a journey.
So unnecessary.
I can't wait to go on this journey with you, man. This is going to be fun.
I'm super excited for it. We've got a great team here at Ball State women's basketball, a great duo between you and I. It's going to be a fun season on the radio for the Cambridge Radio Network from Learfield. I could not be more excited. Let's get right into it.
This is going to be a fun episode number 1 today. It's during our SportsLink Media Day. We'll have players come in. We'll also hear from coaches in future episodes as well. But today, players are coming in, getting their media day on, getting ready for the big intro video that'll go on the Jumbotron in Worthen Arena. A lot of really, really good things going on. We're currently in the Betsy M. Ross studios here in SportsLink. Here, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Ball State SportsLink for allowing us this access as well. And Sam, I mean, when you get a media day like this, I think you can really feel the start of basketball season coming.
Yeah, and it's about time. I mean, we don't even have a schedule yet, Dom, so I'm ready for it to start feeling like basketball. It's October. It's getting closer to the winter months. I'm already fired up. You know this state loves its basketball, so the closer we get to it, the more amped up you already feel.
Let's take you through what this podcast is going to look like. We've got a bi-weekly show. We've got a vodcast version as well as a regular audio podcast version as well. So bi-weekly every 2 weeks, about 20 to 30 minutes per episode. We're going to talk to players. We're going to talk to coaches. We're going to talk to other staff. We're going to talk to support staff members as well. It's going to be a really exciting show to showcase the personalities on this team, because not only has this women's basketball program been so successful in recent history, but there's a lot of fun faces on this crew.
There are. This is just a team of really big personalities, really great, really well coached, really talented players, and we're going to see that here in just a minute throughout this first episode as we bring some of these players on. But I couldn't be more excited. This is a team that loves the sport of basketball. They love each other, and they're hungry for wins, and they're hungry for a MAC championship, and that just feels like the right combo as we sit here in October.
Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves, because obviously we are just undergraduate students in SportsLink. But Sam, let's start with you, man. Just tell everyone a little bit about yourself so they can get to know us, the voices.
Well, as you said, Dom, my name is Sam Neiger. I'm a junior here at Ball State, part of the SportsLink program. I'm from the Cincinnati area originally, a town called Loveland, Ohio. This is my 5th year doing play-by-play broadcasting. I started my junior year of high school, took me here to Ball State, and now I'm in year 3 at Ball State, which is kind of hard to believe that I'm already over halfway through my undergraduate time here in Muncie, but could not be more excited to be joining you in doing the play-by-play duties for Ball State women's basketball this year on the radio. I'm fired up about it.
Well, ditto, my friend. I'm very excited to be joining you on the air this year, and I think we're going to make a heck of a duo. Like he said, I'm Dominic Liacone. I'm currently a senior at Ball State University, also a part of the SportsLink program. This is my 2nd year with Ball State women's basketball on the air. I'm originally from a town called Bolingbrook, Illinois, which is about 45 minutes southwest of the city of Chicago. So I do live in that Chicagoland area, suburbs area. And I started broadcasting when I was a sophomore in high school. I started doing football, worked my way up to do more baseball stuff as well. I played baseball as well in high school. Also did, some basketball, swim and dive as well when the COVID year hit.
There you go.
Kind of got thrown into the fire, and I've ended up loving doing it, ever since I started. So I'm super excited to join you, Sam. I think this is going to be a heck of a year for a heck of a team.
I agree. Enough about us, right? Let's get into how great this team is. We're going to see a lot of really talented basketball out there for Ball State in 2024 and 2025.
But when we come back here on the next segment, we'll get you everything you need to know about this team, some key returners, some key departures, all the new faces we've got from the freshmen to the transfers. This is a very, very deep and very, very fun Ball State women's basketball team heading into the 2024-25 season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this here on Fast Break.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Hey, Ball State women's basketball fans, welcome back to the premiere episode of Fast Break. Dominic Liacone with Sam Neiger. Sam, let's get right into our second segment and just talk a little bit about last year's record-breaking season that the team had, as well as kind of look a little bit ahead at what we're looking at for this year as well, and go over some key additions, some new faces that we'll see, some key returners, and then talk just a little bit about maybe what Ball State lost heading into this year. But we talk about last year, 28-6 record, MAC semifinalists, and then a first-round exit in the WBIT to Belmont. But just what a heck of a year for Brady Sally and his bunch, breaking the program record in wins, I think for the second year in a row it was. Just success all around. I know it's not exactly how the team wanted it to end, but you got to look at the positives, and man, was that an electric year.
It really was, Dom. It's hard not to look at 28 wins and just be amazed. I mean, yes, the postseason was not what the regular season was. There was a little disappointment toward the end of the season, but as a whole, here we sit on October 1st, right? There's no reason that we shouldn't be looking at last season as a complete positive. Yes, we didn't necessarily perform in the postseason how Ball State thought they would, but in hindsight, they had a lot of talent. They put together some big wins against big teams. We're talking wins against Georgia, against Pittsburgh, against Toledo, against some really solid competition. Hosted Notre Dame on the floor of Worthen Arena. Didn't get the win, but still just the atmosphere around this team, just the attention that this team draws in terms of mid-major basketball, it spreads across the whole country. We saw this team pop up on multiple polls in terms of mid-major basketball, one of the top-ranked mid-major programs in the country at points last year. They had wins against James Madison, another top team in terms of mid-major basketball. So this is a Ball State program that is not afraid to shy away from the spotlight, and they know the success of last season. They know the pressure to back that up, though, as well, and I think if there's any squad that is capable of doing that, it's going to be this team, as we're going to come to find out.
Well, it certainly helps when you bring back 4 or 5 starters, huh?
It certainly does. I think there's a big 4 for me in terms of returners for Ball State. Obviously, you got Allie Becky, Allie Buckets, as a lot of people like to call her. She's just one of the most prolific all-around players in the MAC. She's an incredible distributor, a great scorer in her own right. Ball State plays this positionless basketball, as Brady Sally likes to call it. So Allie Becky kind of plays a more traditional guard role. They'll call her a back, but she's great at distributing to the quote-unquote crashers, which is where a player like Maddie Bischoff, another senior, comes in. She can shoot the 3 really well. She's also a good ball handler, plays tenacious defense. I think the combination of those two in the backcourt are one of Ball State's definite strengths. But then you go down low to the keys, and you have these more physical players in terms of Marie Kiefer and Alex Richard. Kiefer specifically on the defensive side of the ball. She's a tremendous shot blocker, and then Alex Richard kind of took her game to the next level last year. A big step up for her in terms of the offensive side of the ball. She even made a 3, which we were not accustomed to last year. She's just an all-around great offensive talent, and I think when you put those 4 key pieces together on the floor at the same time, it basically is the same Ball State lineup that we saw last year, and that's nothing that any MAC team wants to see.
Well, you look at the numbers, too. I mean, Allie Becky, top 10 in scoring.
Yeah.
Maddie Bischoff, top 15 in scoring in the Mid-American Conference. The numbers are there for all 4 of those players. I think I was looking at a graphic earlier in the month, and I think it was a combined 500 points or returning back
Yeah.
from last year is just unbelievable. And from last season alone to have that kind of offense return is huge. Now, obviously, you talk about the losses, and I think the three big ones you really look at are Nyla Hampton, the MAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
You look at Estelle Puchkros, who really grew into a nice leadership role for that team in her 5th year, and had a great 3-point stroke from beyond the arc. And then Annie Rausch, the 6th Player of the Year in the Mid-American Conference as well, who defined what it means to do your job and play your role on a team. I think those are huge losses to the squad. But then you look at what Brady Sally brought in, not only in the 2 freshmen, but also in the transfer portal as well. It just seems like this team is still so deep.
Yeah, as much as Ball State did lose last year, obviously they knew they were going to lose Puchgros, and they knew they were going to lose Rauch to graduation. But Nyla Hampton, although there's no bad blood between her and Ball State at all, they wish her nothing but the best. She did enter the transfer portal, left for Michigan State, took that Power 5 position, and she's going to be very successful up in East Lansing. But credit Brady Sally for what he has been able to do in the transfer portal. He did it with Nyla Hampton last year. That was one of the biggest moves in terms of mid-major basketball with the transfer portal of the year.
The number one.
She was the highest ranked recruit from
Mid-major.
from a mid-major school, and Ball State was able to get her, and credit to Brady Sally for that. He has figured out how to work the transfer portal at this level, and he did it again this year. He's got Malia MJ Johnson, who's coming in from Texas A&M. He's got Elise Stuck from Michigan, and then he's also got Tessa Towers, and those 3 are going to be huge additions to this Ball State team. Not only were we a little worried at points that we weren't necessarily going to find that 5th starter, I think if you talk about those 3 key players that Brady brought in the transfer portal, you're not only going to be sitting pretty comfortable with your starting 5, you've got a potential to go to the bench with 6th or 7th and honestly have another player contend for 6th Player of the Year. It's unbelievable what Brady Sally has done in the transfer portal, and he's made this team just as, if not more, exciting than last year.
Let's talk a little about the head man, Brady Sally.
Yeah.
He just signed a 6-year extension, I want to say we did the math on, through 2030.
Yep.
The all-time winningest coach in Ball State women's basketball history. He's just continued to do incredible things. I think he's starting to close in on 300 wins. We'll see if the squad can get there this year. I don't know how realistic it is this year, but it's certainly to come in the very near future. But when you look at what he's done in the program that he's built, he says it all the time, the resources are in place here, and they certainly are. And I think you have to look at this class that he brought in from the portal, and especially with how college athletics have shaped out today and how often athletes are leaving and finding new homes in the portal. I think he's done as good a job as any, if he's done the best job of any Ball State coach in really looking at the needs of his team and saying, okay, here's what's available in the portal. Here's my elevator pitch to why Ball State should be home. And he's brought in some talent.
Yeah, Dom, really, if you look across the national landscape, everybody's still trying to figure out how to use the portal, specifically at the mid-major level. We've seen it at Ball State. Some of the top talents across the board, regardless of sports, all it takes is one good season. You get noticed by a scout elsewhere, and you're out the door heading for Power 5 land. But Brady Sally has been able to pitch Ball State as an opportunity not only to play basketball at a very high level, but to also be successful in terms of winning. Like, that's the ultimate goal with Brady. He's going to do everything in his power to win. He's going to do everything in his power to win MAC championships and to win NCAA tournament appearances. Obviously, this team has some lofty goals, and he's going to bring in like-minded players to be able to fill the gaps that Ball State lost last year. We'll get to those in a minute, but goodness gracious, just his success that he's already had in the transfer portal, despite the fact that this whole concept of the transfer portal is still relatively new. I've been very impressed by it.
You can't forget about the 2 freshmen either, Zuri Ransom and Grace Kinger. I saw a video yesterday of Grace hitting 10 threes in a row.
Unreal.
I mean, this team is just so deep, and it doesn't matter age, it doesn't matter experience. You just look at everyone on this team and say, I could see them filling out a spot where you're seeing them get very good minutes.
Yeah, I completely agree. And even though there were, times at points last year where players weren't getting a lot of burn, I think about the Smith twins. Even though Ball State brought in some really decent pieces from the portal and the 2 freshmen that you just talked about, I think about players like the Smith twins that are probably going to earn some more minutes this year. Not only is Brady a great recruiter, he's a great developer. And when you put those 2 together, that combination can be deadly, and that's why Ball State contends for MAC championships and NCAA tournament appearances every year.
Yeah, you know this program's going to be exciting year in and year out, and especially throughout the rest of Brady Sally's tenure here. We'll take a quick break here on Fast Break. Again, we want to thank our friends here at SportsLink for providing us the Betsy M. Ross SportsLink studio here on the campus of Ball State University. We've got players coming up. We've got a ton of interviews and going to talk to a bunch of faces here on this Ball State women's basketball team. It's media day for the players, getting ready for the big intro video that we'll see on the Jumbotron in Worthen Arena before the players take the court. Don't go anywhere. We've got interviews and a whole lot more next here on the very first episode of Fast Break.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. GameBridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at GameBridge.io.
Welcome back to the premiere episode of Fast Break, Ball State's very own athletic podcast, focused solely on the women's basketball team. Dominic Liacone alongside Sam Neiger. And now we are starting to be joined by some players here on Media Day. And we start with senior Allie Becky, Allie Buckets, as they call you. Allie, what's going on?
Nothing much. How about you guys?
We're good. Thanks. Thanks for joining us on the first episode of the pod. We're excited to do this and follow you guys all season long.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Well, Allie, first things first, we want to ask you how your offseason was. I know you played in the Indianapolis City League. First of all, tell us what that is and what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, so one of my old high school teammates, Destiny Thomas, she plays at Sabre in the Woods, and she just kind of texted me, was like, hey, you want to play in this league with me? And I'm like, sure, like, I love basketball. Like, I would love to just, like, play, you know? And then, like, I kind of, like, read more into it and everything like that. So I got to see that Mariah, one of our assistant coaches, she plays in that league too. And Portia Green, who played at Ball State, she was there too. So, and I was just there playing against other professional athletes too. So that was fun to like see and like look at and just like play against, and just like I got a lot of advice from them. And yeah, I played in that from like June, July, something like that, in between there. And yeah, it was fun. It was competitive. It was worth some money if we won, but unfortunately we didn't win. But yeah, I mean, it was fun, and got to work on my play too.
Good. And speaking of that, we did a little homework. So is it true that you had a challenge with your dad about rebounding? Is that right? That's I'm assuming then that's one of the big things you worked on there too. Just talk about that kind of little bet you made with your dad and how that helped you.
Right. So I mean, my dad and I, we're big basketball people. My dad just loves everything basketball, so he's everything like trying to get better and everything like that. So he was going to my games, and he noticed that I wasn't performing well in rebounding, and how I could improve from rebounding from last season and everything. And just I don't know, like he wants me to kind of like preserve my energy, not going after the rebounds I can go for. But so he just like try to practice on that, and he was just like, if you can get so and so many rebounds, like you get like an ice cream cone or something, just something like that. He was just like kind of like trying to like push my competitiveness and see how much I really wanted to get better.
You had 16 boards in a game, is that right?
Yes.
Holy cow!
I know that's a heck of a day. I'm curious though, transitioning to this Ball State team, we're going to be chatting with some of your fellow seniors later as well, but it's the last ride, it seems like. So what does this final year mean in terms of legacy? What kind of a legacy do you want to leave at Ball State? Just the player you are and the class that you have. What's your guys' goal in terms of the legacy that you want to leave behind you?
Yeah, I mean, just being a winning program, and I feel like we've done that so far, and just continue to keep winning, and just to, I don't know, just I feel like there's a lot of things where you can say there's a difference between success and significance, and trying to just make our mark a lot more, and not just, I mean, in 10, 20 years from now, no one's going to really talk about like the 2024, 2025 Ball State team. Like, you just kind of have to make a difference yourself and as a team, and just kind of like go out there and not only just like playing as hard as you can, but like making an effect on the community as well.
Yeah, that's success versus significance. Did you come up with that yourself? Where'd you get that?
Actually, so my dad told me about it. I love him. We talked about it today. He grabbed a bunch of us like as a team and like went over success and like how we can be as a team, and like everyone has the same goals of winning the MAC or like going dancing and everything like that. But he also made it like an importance like be significant in what you're doing, and just kind of make an impact on other stuff besides basketball.
How cool is that? That's awesome.
Getting kind of into the off season for you, besides playing in the city, like I know when we talked to you last year, you saw a no hitter. So I'm assuming no hitter in the off season this year. But anything fun that maybe you and your teammates did during the off season, kind of away from the game?
Yeah, I mean, we've just been kind of chillaxing, but we've been just kind of chilling with each other, and yeah, we're trying to go to Indies Green Park because we usually do that as a team, and just trying to like do other things besides just watching footballs on Saturday nights or Sundays or anything like that.
Is that your thing? Do you like haunted houses in East Green Park, or is that your teammates?
It's a little bit of both. I like to go there for the reactions from like Alex, and yeah. So I mean, you can just imagine how she would react.
How close has Alex been to actually punching one of the actors?
Honestly, she's more of like running away, but Marie, she punched her. She thought that her boyfriend came, and she thought that one of them was like trying to scare her or whatever, and she punched him in the nose and he started bleeding.
She punched the...
No, her boyfriend. Yeah.
Wow. Try not to come back too injured from an East Green Park.
Alrighty, look out. Just getting more into this team. I mean, obviously we've talked so much about the transfers coming in and the newcomers and the freshmen as well, and how deep that this team is. And last year's team was already deep enough as it was, but it just seems like this team is just as deep, if not even more deep. How do you build that chemistry so quick in the off season, and what have you seen from this group in terms of gelling together?
Yeah, I mean, I just getting in after practice and just kind of like going over plays, or just like going up and down, playing scrimmage or pickup or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we're a very athletic team, like the most athletic team we've been since my 4 years. And so just trying to pick out everyone's strengths and obviously their weaknesses, just to make them better and grow as a team. So just like knowing each other well is what will help us be successful.
Allie, you're one of the most talented players in Ball State women's basketball history. And with that, you know, your teammates are going to look to you. Have you thought about what your role as a leader looks like on this squad?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a conversation with like the whole coaching staff, or with Brady and my position coach Audrey. We've always came in and just try to like set like some goals and everything like that to just like become a better leader. I feel like for me personally, like I like to lead by example, and they're just wanting me to be more vocal and try to hold people up to a higher standard and just go about it as a positive way, and not trying to like be negative or anything like that. Just like, I mean, you know, like you see Caitlin Clark, she expects a lot out of her teammates, and I just feel like I do too. And I'm very competitive, and it's obviously hard to play a perfect game, and but yeah, we want to be close to perfect and just be good. Yeah.
I'm curious because in seasons past, there's been slogans around this team. Is there anything that you guys have kind of, you know, built off of this year in terms of a team saying?
Not really. I just think that just being like Brady just always says, just like we show our effort and everything like that. It's just being smart about how we do it and be disciplined and everything. Because this team right now, we're just like, we're giving all our effort. Like you can tell on the court, it's just trying to be more disciplined and like more aware of what we're doing.
It's funny that you mentioned Caitlin Clark, who's now moved on to the next level to play in the WNBA. I know you want to play at the next level. What does that goal look like for you? What is that goal? Do you want to play in the WNBA? Do you want to play overseas? What does that look like?
Yeah, I definitely want to play overseas. I can't see myself working a 9 to 5 yet. Just trying to kind of push that out till I have to.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, I've talked to Brady about it, I've talked to Audrey about it, and they've been helping me with that process. And it probably won't start till after season and everything. And but yeah, looking forward to trying to continue playing basketball.
Before we let you go, we're going to ask a question to not only you, but a lot of your teammates. Who on this team is most likely to leave their gear, whether it be going to a game or practice, at home?
I would say either Alex or MJ.
Okay, why Alex or MJ?
Alex, I've heard Marie say that she left her her practice jersey to one of our away games because we have a, what's it called, shoot around. Yeah, and so she left that there, and yeah, and then MJ, I just feel like she's got a lot going on. So I think
All right.
I think she's between her dog and just schoolwork and everything. I just feel like she would be the one that would forget it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Allie, thanks so much for joining us on the first episode. We appreciate it. Hopefully we can do this again sometime soon. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Allie, Becky here on Fast Break. We've got a whole plethora of other players coming on the show here in just a bit here on Fast Break.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Welcome back to the season preview special and the very first episode of Fast Break presented by Gamebridge. Dominic Liacone, Sam Neiger. Now very pleased to be joined by graduate transfer from Michigan in Elise Stuck. Elise, thanks for joining us. What's going on?
Not much. It's been an exciting preseason, so I'm happy to chat with y'all.
I know it's very early in the media day, but you walk down and you see that big board with all the flashing effects and all the lights. What's going through your head?
I mean, it's fun. It's always like, I feel like media day is like the staple start of the season, right? But I don't know. It's exciting. It's fun to see the flashing lights for sure.
Yeah, so as we talked about, you're one of the transfers on this team. You're coming from Michigan, Power 5 school. How did Ball State first appear on your radar?
Yeah, so in the transfer portal, it's pretty different than being recruited out of high school. It's kind of like, I guess, more transactional, not necessarily in a bad way, but you're really I was looking for very specific things when I was in the portal, and Ball State had reached out, and, I just did research on different teams. They had recruited me out of high school a little bit, and so I really valued being part of like a winning program, a program that had a potential to win a championship and also play in the NCAA tournament. And I feel like Ball State checked all those boxes for me right away.
What specifically did you notice about this team when you first walked onto campus, maybe culturally, chemistry-wise, that really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think they're like a really, really solid core group of girls that have been here for the last 3 years that have worked really hard to kind of create a standard for this program. And then just kind of the way that they hold themselves and play was something I was really drawn to specifically on my visit here, and also just like how close everybody is.
I'm curious, too, about the perception that this program has from an outside perspective. Like, had you heard of Ball State before they reached out to you? And if you had, what did you know about this team?
I had, just because of the MAC. I mean, we've played MAC teams.
Yeah.
When I was at Michigan. We got beat by Toledo two years in a row. So obviously I knew the MAC was a very competitive conference. I grew up in Northern Michigan, so I grew up going to Central games all the time. But I think, you see kind of the rankings of last year, and like we saw that. I mean, you see that kind of stuff regardless of what conference you're playing in or what conference you're looking at. So I think, I saw kind of just what they were doing to the MAC. You think of the MAC, I guess, as like Toledo a little bit, always at the top of the MAC. But then when Ball State's in there, I mean, it's definitely noticeable for sure.
What for people that haven't seen your game, how would you, if you had to briefly describe the type of player you are to people that haven't watched you, how would you describe yourself?
High motor, definitely like very intense. I really pride myself on my ability, like on my intensity and also like my motor. Very physical, big rebounder. I kind of pride myself and grew my game throughout my college career just on like doing little things, doing the stuff that sucks. Like that's totally me.
Yeah, so I'm curious about coming from Michigan now. What transition or what changes did you make over this summer to be able to fit into this Ball State program specifically?
Yeah, this program is definitely a little bit more free-flowing, a lot more like motion offense, read and react, making decisions, like kind of the positionless player.
Yeah.
Brady talks about that a lot, but just kind of refitting readjusting to kind of being a guard and being on the perimeter. I kind of was molded into more of a small forward in the Big Ten. So just kind of like fine-tuning some things and readjusting to guard play for sure.
Well, we hear from Brady all the time about this whole idea of a positionless player. It's your first year in the program, so you're kind of new to the idea of it maybe, but what does it mean to you? How would you define it for those that might not know what it means?
I guess just like being able to have a skill set 1 through 5 no matter where you are on the court, right? So like doesn't matter who you are, you're able to play inside, like if you have a mismatch or stretch the floor. Just being able to take, I guess, your defender or what the team you're playing against and like figure out how we can win in the best way. And like a lot of times that doesn't look the same every single game.
I know you're one of the older players on the team. You've got a ton of experience under your belt. Is there anyone that you've kind of maybe taken under your wing, or have you seen yourself, now with you being in this position, have you taken anyone under your wing, or have you seen yourself act as a mentor or more of a leader?
It's definitely an interesting position coming in as a grad transfer to a program with so much success and so much senior, I guess, success within the senior class. But I think there's certain things like I've been in basketball, college basketball this is my 5th year. So there's a lot of things that just come with that and like just knowledge that you just learn through mostly mistakes. But I think I spent a lot of time with Grace. She's in my position group. So she's been awesome to work with. Like we spend pretty much every day together in the summer. So she's been great. You just always try to help out freshmen a little bit. Like it's a tough transition regardless of your skill set. Like it's a mental transition as much as it is a physical one. So yeah, I've been just trying to do what I can to help everybody out for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to be asking pretty much everybody on the team this question, but we kind of formulated this idea. We want to know who on the team is most likely to forget their gear on game day.
Okay, I'm saying Tessa.
Who's sitting right here, by the way.
Tessa's looking at me, and she's going to hate me, but Tessa, you can say me. It's fine.
Well, what makes you say Tessa? Why Tessa?
I just think Tessa sometimes will come in a room and be like, kind of, like she needs everything to be perfect to the point where she forgets something. Like that would be Tessa more so than she like is just forgetful. She'd just be worried about someone else or like trying to make sure someone else has something, or she's that kind of person. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Elise, I tell you what, this has been awesome. We're super, super happy to have you with this program. Big impact and leadership as well. So thank you for joining us on the pod.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it very much. When we come back, we'll have a whole lot more with more players here on Fast Break.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
It's the premiere episode of our new podcast, Fast Break, a podcast solely dedicated to Ball State's women's basketball team here on Women's Basketball's Media Day here with SportsLink from the Betsy M. Ross studio. Shout out to SportsLink in collaboration with us over here on the Gainbridge Radio Network from Learfield. We're joined by another special guest. It is the transfer out of Wisconsin in Tessa Towers. Tessa, thanks for joining us. How's Media Day been so far? I know that it kind of just started, but what's been the vibe?
It's been pretty good. We just had our little video shoot downstairs. It was pretty hype. But yeah, ready to take some pictures after this.
So from you're coming from a Power 5 program. I'm curious how Media Day stacks up. Wisconsin, obviously, big name in the Big Ten. How does our LED board stack up downstairs compared to the Badgers?
When I saw it, was actually pretty cool. We didn't have anything like that at Wisconsin. We obviously did have a bunch of props and stuff, but not really anything like that extravagant. We did have like lights, but I never was in front of a big LED board that was flashing lights. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Heck yeah, we'll take that as a win.
Yeah,
absolutely. We asked Elise this when she was on, but from her also being from the Big Ten, how did Ball State end up on your radar in the transfer portal?
So when I was in the transfer portal, I had actually reached out to Ball State because I was trying to find somewhere close to home, and this is like somewhat close to home. Not too bad of a drive, not too far of a drive, and I had already known of Ball State prior, just because I know some athletes who have gone here and have heard of the name. just kind of being kind of close. And I don't know, I thought this would be a good program. Looked like they needed some height, so I'd reached out to them, and that's how, I got here.
Yeah, well, with so many new faces on this team, it's tough sometimes to have that chemistry right away, but it seems like this team gels really well, that you all like each other. Is that a correct perception, or where do you guys stand on that?
Yeah, I feel like this team is definitely a lot different than any other team I've been on. Like, we kind of stick to ourselves, but like if someone needs something, like we aren't selfish, and we will, help that person with whatever they need. And I feel like that's a great dynamic to have in a team.
Your journey from Wisconsin out of here, but you talk about being close to home. I want to take you back because we were talking off camera how we're kind of in similar locations in the Chicagoland area, you being from Batavia. Just talk about, for people that don't know, what's the competition like, especially at the high school level in Illinois, specifically in the suburbs of Chicago?
The competition was actually fairly hard. There's a lot of people who have gone D1, D2 basketball out of, my conference, or even just like tournaments I played in high school. So the competition from that was definitely challenging, and it helped me a lot going into college and stuff.
Well, for our listeners, anytime that Dom gets a chance to shout out the suburbs of Chicago, he's going to take it. Yeah, for sure.
Shout out.
Tessa, I noticed the tattoos. I love them, by the way.
Thank you.
What do you have a favorite?
I would have to say my favorite is the snake, because it's actually, I stick and poked something on my hand when it was like a cowboy. Like, have you seen like the cowboy emoji?
Yeah.
I stick and poke that on my hand, and I didn't realize how dumb it looked until after the fact that it was engraved in my skin. So I actually got this covered up, and it's probably my favorite because now I get a bunch of compliments on this tattoo and none on the cowboy that I had.
I love it. That's funny.
That's awesome.
Should we talk some ball?
We should talk some ball, and I want to talk about, for you specifically, I know we're going to ask, a lot about, what this team's goals are throughout the pod, but for you specifically in developing during the off season as we get closer into game number 1 of the season, what have you specifically worked on to improve yourself?
So coming from a program where I didn't really play much, my biggest thing was, whipping back into that playing shape and being able to get on the court and be able to provide for, as many minutes as I possibly can. So that was definitely my main goal coming in here. And now since I've kind of got that underway and kind of developing that aspect of my game, my next big thing is just, providing that strength and providing that height for the team as well, being the big player down in the post and, getting all the rebounds that I can. So that's like my next big thing that I'm working toward, is just being able to just provide that strength that the team may be lacking in the height as well.
Yeah, so you came from Wisconsin, a place where you didn't play a ton. Now you're probably going to get some burn here at Ball State. You look around at this roster and you see the goals on this team. Obviously, they want to win a MAC championship. You want to have that NCAA tournament berth. Where do you specifically fit into this really deep Ball State team? What do you see your role being like this year?
This year, I think, is definitely, because I do have 3, maybe 4 years left of college eligibility as a junior. So this year for me, I think it's more of like, obviously getting on the court at any time I possibly can, and like helping my team with that, but also like definitely this is going to be more of like a development year, because I have missed out on a little bit from Wisconsin, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, Tessa, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us on the first episode of the pod, and hopefully you can do this again soon.
Thank you.
This has been another player. We've got Tessa Towers, and we've got a whole bunch more coming up here on the very first episode of Fast Break. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. GameBridge lets you invest on your terms, so you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at GameBridge.io.
Welcome back to the very first episode of Fast Break, presented by GameBridge, Ball State's very own women's basketball podcast. And now we are pleased to be joined by one of the keys for Ball State women's basketball, senior Alex Richard. Alex, what's going on?
You know nothing.
Let's get it. Let's just get into it. How's the off season?
I mean, it's been great, full of a lot of work. We have a pretty new team, so we've just been learning how to, really just work together. We're getting in some really good work, and we've been doing it. We've been going at it for, I don't know how many months now, but it's been great, and we're all, we're learning, we're working, and I think that we're all ready for the season.
Some new additions to the team this year from the transfer portal, a couple of new freshmen as well. How do you feel that they've gelled with the program? How do you gel with them?
We've been gelling pretty well. I think that they're fitting into the system really well. I think that, I don't know, they're doing great. We're doing great. We're all working very well together.
How's the dog?
Miss Layla. She's great. She's doing great. Dog park all the time, walkies.
How old is she?
She's going to be 3 February 12th.
What breed is she again?
A mini golden doodle.
Okay.
Aww.
I love that.
Yeah. She's my baby.
Did I hear that the Smith twins got a new baby golden doodle?
Oh, yes. That's my godson.
Aww.
His name is Milo.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I love it. So you were telling us as we were walking in that this isn't your first time in the studio as of late. You were in the studio recently. You recorded a song. Is that right? You recorded that?
Yeah. I'm a woman of many talents.
Mm-hmm.
Rapping is one of them.
All right.
So
We do.
Me, the twins, Sydney, we made a song.
All right.
So.
All right. Is it live? Is it on SoundCloud? Is it on Spotify? Where can we find this?
Just voice memos as of right now. It probably wouldn't stream on the radio.
Okay. Well, you got a lot of talented people in this room that can edit it for you if need be. So just keep that in mind.
Thank you. What keep in mind?
Speaking of songs, is the theme song still Ski this year?
I don't know. Lotto's been big lately, so instead of Sexy Red and Ski, I think we're going to lean a little bit more towards Lotto. So I'll work on that with Brady.
Is there a specific song that you're thinking of right now from Lotto?
Big Mama.
Big Mama?
Or Brokey.
So like, is it safe to say like you have aux at all times, or is it like who has aux usually?
Caroline.
Caroline
Really?
Caroline has aux. She knows what we want. Yeah.
Caroline, for those that don't know, is the social media manager for Ball State women's basketball.
Who does a phenomenal.
Yeah, she does. That's awesome. So obviously, your guys' playlist versus Brady's playlist a lot different, right?
Oh yeah.
So where does that switch happen? Does he take practice? You take pregame? How does that work?
Oh, I mean, really, we have a speaker going all the time, and we all have songs that we all like on there, and the managers do a great job of just playing that. And then pregame, postgame, that's Caroline.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Let's talk some ball now. Obviously we talked about just the newcomers from this year and the preparation that you guys have done in the off season to get ready. But you have a really, really good core group returning, 4 or 5 starters from last year. Just talk about how you guys, as in the core that's been here, has really meshed with that new group, and what do you see for this team throughout, I guess, going into the season? How do you see that chemistry continue to evolve?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's an adjustment transferring from any program. So obviously credit to them. They've been doing a great job at adjusting, meshing with the rest of us. I mean, we all get along. It wasn't hard. It was very natural on and off the court. So, I mean, when you get along off the court, it just kind of translates pretty easy in ball. And, if anybody's ever confused, we have each other's backs. And the coaches do a great job at making sure that we're all on the same page. So I see a very successful season. We have a lot of new pieces that are going to be just great additions to the team.
And Alex, we're going to hear a lot of this today from you and your teammates about what the goals are from this team. Obviously, you want to win a MAC championship. You want to have that NCAA tournament berth. But I'm curious about you specifically. What are your personal goals for this season?
So I mean, the goal is to play overseas after. So, just getting like, I don't know, maybe like a MAC Player of the Week. I got that last year. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
An all conference of some sort, and then I don't know, just getting those rebounds, passing the ball out, trying to.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Before we let you go, do you have any? We asked you this last year during the season preview show. Do you have any kind of final words? Like the floor is yours. Like what do you want to say to this women's basketball fan base?
Hey, if y'all hearing this, turn up to the season. slide to some games, show out, we'll ball out, period. MAC 2025 champs, baby.
It does not get better than that.
I love that. Hey, Alex, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back after this with a whole lot more here on Fast Break.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Back here on the premiere episode of Fast Break, your home for all things Ball State women's basketball this year, presented by Gainbridge. And of course, we are now joined by senior phenom beyond the arc. It's Maddie Bischoff. Maddie, what's going on?
Good. How about you?
Good. We're happy to have you here. Let's start with this. How was the offseason?
It was good. It was good for sure. It was different. It was good to see all the new faces, get to know everyone, but I really enjoyed it. It was a good last, preseason.
Yeah, we've chatted with a lot of those new faces, a lot of the transfers as well. How do you feel like some of those new additions have gelled and meshed with the team this year?
Yeah, no, I think they adjusted so well with us. I think they're going to be great pieces for our team. I mean, we got a lot of size and we got a guard, Lachelle. So I just think they're great pieces for our team this year, and I think we're going to work really well with them.
Now, I have to ask, how's the dog? How's the dog?
Yeah.
He's great, Winston, yeah.
How many dogs does that make on the team? Are there 3 now? 3 dogs?
No, there's 5 or 6 now, yeah.
Oh my
There's a
goodness.
lot.
Yeah, I heard about the Smith twins' new dog today, and that's 5 or 6. That's unreal.
Every house or apartment has a dog.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So yeah.
Tell us about just the process of getting Winston, when you got him, and just the breed and everything.
Yeah, so I would say all growing up, I had a golden doodle. I still do. He's a standard. I loved how big he was. And I've always been obsessed with Bernese Mountain Dogs and just Bernedoodles in general. And all throughout high school, I would always have screenshots of Bernedoodles. I'm going to get one day. My parents were no more dogs. So I'm so I'm going to get one by myself. I just don't know when. So last summer I was talking to Allie, I was we should just get a dog for the house. I'll take him at after college. He'll be mine. I'll pay for everything, whatever. So she was not so on board about it. Marie was no dog.
She's sitting in the corner laughing about it too.
And I was come on, guys, come on, I'll take him, whatever. Well, first I was unsure. I was should I, I don't know. Everyone telling me, don't do it, whatever. So I was whatever. Me and Allie were looking at Bernedoodles for sale, and we found one that was $6.95, which is really cheap for a Bernedoodle. Wow. And I was oh my gosh, should we go see him? And little, the next week we went and we saw him, and they're since you guys couldn't get him earlier, we're gonna drop the price down to $600. I was this is even a bigger reason to get him. So we went, drove 4 hours there, 4 hours back, right after weights and practice, and then we got him, and yeah.
So you drove 4 hours. Where'd you go to get him?
Ohio.
You went to Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Suburbs got a shout out earlier.
Yes.
Now we're getting that Ohio shout out. Come on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's get into some ball here and more just about this team coming into the year. Obviously, an impressive season last year, record-breaking in wins. How much of a chip on this team's shoulder, especially shoulders, especially with you being one of 4 key returners that are seniors, coming in from the starter position last year? How much of a chip is on this team's shoulder?
I would say very high. We are really looking, that's our main thing, to go to the NCAA tournament and then obviously go dancing. But yeah, I mean, it's our last year for me, and I would say on behalf of the other seniors, we want it so bad this year. It's our last year to do it. So and all the previous years we've been so close, so it just gives us a bigger reason, and that we definitely can do it, and this is our year to do it because we have so much experience too. So yeah.
And you said it, this senior class is so close. You live
Yes.
with your fellow seniors. So what does this group specifically mean to you? I'm talking about the seniors here. You know, they're some of your best friends.
Yeah.
What do they mean to you, and what has this team meant to you?
Yeah, they mean so much to me. I mean, so Marie and Allie have been with me since freshman year. Alex came sophomore year just because, like, obviously loved everything at Ball State, but, like, I was like, Alex, like, you have to come here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they just mean so much to me. And I know it's going to be sad when all this is over. So, I mean, we obviously want to end everything on a really good note, obviously win the MAC. So, but yeah, they mean so much to me.
So you were the one who enticed Alex Richard here then, is that what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
Because you played AAU ball together, is that
Yes,
correct?
yeah.
What's that like, knowing that you've played with her for years now? Now you get to finish off your college careers together. What does that relationship look like throughout your entire basketball career?
It's actually crazy that it's coming to an end after this year. It's like honestly hard to process. Like it hasn't hit me at all. So I'm just trying to enjoy every moment with her because I'm going to struggle after. I'm going to miss her so much. But yeah, she has been on the court with me for every year of my basketball career. So yeah, it means a lot to me. Like she's been through every step with me for basketball. So
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Do you have any specific personal goals for yourself? I know you talked a lot about what this team wants to do, but for yourself specifically, what are you working towards and striving towards for this specific senior year to leave your legacy on this program?
yeah, for me personally, I mean, obviously what I'm known for is just like hitting shots. I mean, last season I felt like I was really hot in the beginning and kind of went down. So I just really want to stay consistent all throughout the year. Also just like be someone like positive, like, you know, obviously like cheer everyone on, just like being like a big, what's the word? Just like a big role in the team that someone can come to me to look for advice, whatever. But yeah, just on the court, hitting shots and obviously like defense, getting stops and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, we've been asking some of your teammates this. We want to ask you as well. Who on the team is most likely to forget their gear on game day? If Elise called out Tessa, who are you going to call out? I got to know.
Shoot. Maybe Alex.
Oh, we should have asked her too. That's funny.
That's funny. Hey, Maddie, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Hopefully, we can do this again as the season goes on. Because I mean, we're with you guys all year long, and we're excited to cover you guys.
Yes, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Maddie Bischoff here on Fast Break, the first episode of our new podcast centered solely on Ball State women's basketball. When we come back, we'll have a whole lot more after this.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Back here on Fast Break, the very first episode of our all-new podcast, solely focused on Ball State's women's basketball team, and we are now joined here by Marie Kiefer Sr. and one of the four big returners on this squad. Marie, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How's the offseason? We've been asking everyone this to start, but for you specifically, anything fun, anything in the plans that you had that you did that was out of the ordinary?
No, it was pretty average off season. Like last off season was it.
Yeah. What this offseason, what'd you work on in terms of your game? I know last year prided yourself on the defensive side of the ball. Have you continued working on that? I'm sure the answer is yes, but what have you tried to add to your game as well this year?
Oh, for sure. Definitely on the defensive side, like closing out, like guarding the guards rather than like the big people underneath, and just learning how to like move my feet better and stay with like the little fast girls that are out there.
For you specifically with this team, obviously, you know, being a senior, and we've talked to so many of your other senior teammates as well, but one last ride, especially, you know, with this group of players, when we talk about legacy, you know, being so close to that block shots all-time record in program history, but for you specifically, what kind of legacy do you want to leave on this program exiting after your senior year?
I mean, I think our grade came in with like a lot of spitfire, and like we really went out there and we're gonna change the way that this the Ball State is and I think we have, and we're gonna hope to continue that legacy with our freshmen that we brought in and everything like that.
So, obviously senior this year, you talk about the freshmen. What does it mean to be one of the definitive leaders on this team? Have you kind of adopted that role, or are you kind of a lead by example kind of player? How would you characterize your leadership?
I say I'm lead by example, but also I try to encourage them. It's crazy that we're seniors. It just feels like we were just freshmen, so I feel like we're still getting used to it, definitely, but it's been good.
You talk about the newcomers on this team, so many different faces. This team, last year's team was already very deep, but this team just seems like it's just as, if not even more deep than it was last year. For you, seeing these newcomers, whether it be freshmen or transfers, kind of assimilate into this Ball State culture, how have you seen this team come together, especially as we head into the latter portions of the offseason?
I think we came together, the first practice we had, we all saw each other, we go have dinners at Brady's. It just feels like the same team that has been here for the past 4 years.
Dinners at Brady, I'm curious now. What are the Sallies cooking up?
They're not really. We do catering, or Brady does grill. He grilled from the hoodies.
No
we
kidding.
Get
That's
and stuff
unreal.
Like that. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's
So
good.
the big man's not here today, obviously, on media day, but we hear from him all the time about this idea of positionless basketball. And we asked Elise this earlier, as a newcomer to the program, how do you define the positionless basketball player? I want to ask you the same question since you've been around the program for so long. You've been under the Brady's reins for 4 years. What does the positionless basketball player look like to you?
Like all of us, we're all considered to be the same. We all have our certain roles, but I could take the ball up the court. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, have the confidence. Come on, there you go.
No, but just we all have our roles, but we all go together as we can all interchange with each other.
Yeah, very cool. So I know you got to get to class, but we've been asking pretty much every teammate of yours this question. So I want to ask you as well, who on the team is most likely to leave their gear and forget some of their gear on game day?
I heard that you said it was Tessa before, and Alex.
I didn't say it. Elise said.
Yes. I would either say one of those two, but my answer would probably be Alex, because she did forget her practice jersey on an away game one time.
Uh-oh.
So we had to practice without them, but
I'm sure Brady loved that. Brady loved that.
yes.
Out of curiosity, what class you got coming up?
It's HSC something.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So one of those classes.
Yeah,
Okay.
science.
I
Something.
got you. Okay, well, we won't hold you up any longer. We know you got to get to class. So we appreciate you joining us on the first episode of the pod. Can't wait to follow you guys all year long.
Thank you.
That was Marie Kiefer. We've got a whole bunch more here on Fast Break. Don't go anywhere.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
We've got one last special guest here on the very first episode of Fast Break, presented by Gainbridge, Dominic Liacone, Sam Neiger, and of course, now we are joined by Malia MJ Johnson. MJ, thanks so much for joining us. How's the transition been to Muncie? How you liking Muncie?
It's a very small town. It's very different. I'm from Chicago, so big city to a small town is very unique, but I kind of like the quiet.
So let's talk about it. A graduate transfer from Texas A&M.
Yes.
Let's just start right away with, how did Ball State kind of get on your radar, or how did you find Ball State?
So my sister is the coach here, so I was already watching just for her. I'm like, let me see my sister on the sideline there. And then once I graduated from A&M, and I was just like, that would be really cool to go and play for my sister. So the moment I put my name in the portal, she was the first coach to call me.
That's awesome.
And then because I've been watching the games all year, I felt like I could fit in here. I could really help out and get that extra step to go dancing. So
From a basketball specific standpoint, what about this team jumped out at you?
the style of play. I came from a very traditional, 2 posts, 3 guards, post on the block type, and I am so versatile. I think I played so many different positions, and I think just being able to come to a positionless program and kind of be put wherever you need, we need a 3, go make one. You need a layup, go get one. That's my style of basketball, so I really like that.
So your sister being, of course, Mariah King, assistant coach for this women's basketball team, what's the dynamic like with, her being your coach, the dynamic between you two, it almost kind of reminds me of like not exactly like now Bronny and LeBron,
Yeah.
like how they're both playing with each other, but having your sister now as your coach, what is that like?
Well, considering I've been playing basketball my whole life, her whole life, it's kind of just the same thing. She's just now in my face with it. Usually after the game, just like a text, or you could have did this, or you should have did that. But now it's like, come look in film. I'm going to show you what you could have done.
Do you get to take revenge on her? Do you get to play one-on-one ball with her ever?
We played a little bit in the summer, like when we had the individuals and stuff. I was cooking her, okay? I was cooking her. But that's about it. More so when we have individuals, when it's just me and her, kind of doing the move that she teach me on her. And I'm like, dang, girl, you can't even guard, so it got to be good.
I love it. Let's talk a little bit of ball here, and specifically about this team, and not only this team's goals, but I want to talk specifically about your individual goals coming into this year. With this being, one of the last years you'll play collegiate basketball, what are some things that you've really tried to fine-tune, especially in the offseason, that you want to prove on the court this year?
Me personally, it's just my jumper. I think is one of the most inconsistent things in my game. So this summer, I've been working with my sister, Audrey, and even Casey, and literally everybody has been trying to get this jumper to perfection. But it's hard, I'm the only left-handed person on the team, so I have different people helping me get my fingertips on the ball, get my feet set, stuff like that. So that's been the biggest thing that I've been working on, is just kind of having a consistent jumper, because no matter what level you are, if you can shoot, there's nothing anybody can do with you.
Yeah, and we, coming from Texas A&M now to Ball State, you come from that Power 5 landscape into the mid-major landscape. How does the dynamic shift now that you're at Ball State, coming from a place as big as Texas A&M?
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed just being here different is the hunger. It's kind of like everybody here wants to you want to prove everybody wrong. It doesn't matter what school we are at. It doesn't matter who we play. You're a basketball team. You put on your jersey just like I do. And I think this team has that kind of edge. I think we all kind of have that competitive nature, and I love that, because I think with Power 5 schools, you can have people who just I'm here because I'm talented.
Yeah.
But this is all everybody wants to. Everybody works hard. Everybody is giving their all, so it makes you want to give your all with them.
Is the chemistry coming in for you? How was it different, I guess, and what was the relationship like with your fellow teammates, especially when you first stepped onto campus? Because obviously this team is very new, a ton of Power 5 transfers like yourself coming into this year. What was that dynamic like?
I think credit to the girls who have been here. They did well on all of the visits, because when we came in, we all just kind of fit. Usually there's a little awkward, I don't really know you, but we kind of, it's like a puzzle piece. We kind of just fit in. I think credit to the girls again, they do good at making sure that everybody is involved when there's a recruit here. Everybody shows up to all the places, so that makes it easier for the transition, especially coming in right in the summer, hard workout. It's good to actually care about each other and have team bonding things all week. So I think that was pretty good on their part.
Yeah, MJ, it's funny that you mentioned everybody puts on their jersey the same way. You're the only one red today. Now, we've been asking your teammates who's the most likely to forget their gear. I heard that you might have forgot that white jersey today. Is that true?
So I didn't read the group chat. Okay.
I'm guilty of that too.
It was on Do Not Disturb, because, we get so many messages. And I always, just check my phone naturally. But I was getting ready without looking at the phone.
Uh-huh.
And then I walk out in the red, and my roommate, Lachelle, she had on the white, and I was like, ooh. So
that's so funny. Well, if you had to make your own take, who besides yourself then do you think is most likely to forget their gear?
I have two guesses. I'd probably say Alex or Tessa.
Those are pretty popular answers today. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Hey, MJ, thanks so much for joining us on the premiere episode. Hopefully we can continue to talk to you and your teammates as we go throughout the season. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
When we come back, we'll conclude our very first episode of Fast Break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to this all-new exclusive Ball State Women's Basketball podcast here on Learfield.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
All right, back here to wrap up episode number 1 of Fast Break, a Ball State women's basketball podcast. Sam, what a day we had. An awesome media day here in partnership with SportsLink. Want to give a huge shout out to SportsLink for allowing us to continue to use the Betsy M. Ross SportsLink studios here on the campus of Ball State University. But, you heard it there first. A ton of personalities on this team, ton of fun things going on with this program, and it's just going to be a heck of a year.
Yeah, we told y'all it was going to be fun. This is a team just full of such great big personalities, such great basketball talents, and when you have that combination, you just can't look away. You have to be tuned into this Ball State team, not just for our podcast, not just for this show, but really all season. There's going to be a great product out there on the court. I just can't wait to talk to Brady Sally. Why couldn't he be on the podcast today? Come on, Brady. We need to hear from you soon, my friend.
We definitely will be hearing from Brady Sally soon. I guess the next step here, Sam, is just waiting for that schedule to come out, because we're antsy just like you fans are.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting for that schedule, and once it drops, best believe we will be just as excited as you, because we are very, very interested to see not only how the MAC season shapes out, even though we know that, but just how this program challenges itself in non-conference play.
Well, we've heard that the schedule could come out in 2 hours. It could come out in 2 weeks. So just stay on your toes. Get ready for that. The release of that schedule. Just know that there's going to be some big names on it. It's going to be a great non-conference matchups as per the usual. Then of course, MACtion. It speaks for itself. It's going to be a great season across the board. I couldn't be more excited.
Well, it's been a great afternoon. Again, huge shout out to our SportsLink crew here. Just doing a phenomenal job getting the intro video ready and getting more than loud and ready pregame as the team takes the court with the intro video, with the photos, even with other shows here from the studio. This is a team that does deserve all this coverage, and again, we're super, super excited to provide it, Sam.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited to get started. I can't wait for November to get here.
Thanks for tuning into episode number 1 of Fast Break, our season preview show here for Ball State women's basketball. Next time, hopefully, we'll have head coach Brady Sally. We'll have some more interviews along the way as well, but we're super excited for basketball season. Don't go anywhere. Dominic Liacone and Sam Neiger here to take you through all the action with our new bi-weekly podcast here on Learfield. This has been episode number 1 of Fast Break. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Fast Break, presented by Gainbridge. The preceding has been a presentation of Ball State Athletics in Learfield.